Okay, this is the Town of Lake Park, Florida Commission Budget Workshop, the third Commission Budget Workshop for Wednesday, August 26, 2026. The time is now 6:11 p.m. Can we have the clerk please take the roll call?
Commissioner Linden? Present. Commissioner O'Rourke? Commissioner Thomas? Vice Mayor Hensley?
Here.
Mayor Mashad?
Here. Can we all please rise for the pledge?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Please be seated. Next, we have the approval of the agenda. I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second?
Second.
A first and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The approval of the agenda passes unanimously. I have nothing under public comment, so we will move forward to new business. Item number 1, our only item for the FY 2027 Budget Workshop number 3, proposed capital improvement plan and discussion. Ms. Barbara Gould, please begin. Oh, yeah.
Good evening, Barbara Gould, Finance Director. Welcome to our third and final budget workshop for fiscal year 27. There we go. So we've broken down the CIP by fund. So first one we have up is general fund. This is a list of the projects that we have. It does go multiple pages, so they were the ones we were picking. Sorry, the ones we were choosing were highlighted. I'm sorry that didn't come out that way. I had printed in black and white, so I didn't notice it, but I'll point those out for you. In the general fund, none of the items on this page made it into the budget in its current form. So if there's something that is an interest, then you all can discuss and we can make the appropriate modifications. On the second page, the first item, the Kelsey Park Master Plan Fitness stations, that $24,000 is included. Partway down the page, the road improvements and the sidewalks, those are covered in this budget year. And then the security gate for the PBSO building to close their parking lot off. And the last item is the library furniture, and then there's one more over in here, lighting replacement at the library. And those are included because they're subject to grants. So as long as we get the grants, those we'll be able to spend that money. But if the grants do not come in, those will be delayed. Any questions on a particular project in the general fund?
Any questions on the dais so far on any particular?
Not yet, but no, go ahead. I'll get this up and running. It just doesn't seem to want to
We can always back up.
cooperate.
Okay, not a problem.
The next one is stormwater. So in stormwater, everything that is in the 27 column has been included in the budget, including a dump truck replacement, a backhoe loader, the southern outfall final phase, which is the 10th Street South, and then the pipe rehabilitation, and replacement, along with 2nd Street design and Ilex Court design. Those have all been included in this year's budget.
And these, for the record, are already earmarked for 2027.
They are included and funded at this point, yes.
I have some questions on this On stormwater,
Go ahead, Commissioner Linden.
thank you, Mayor.
And before you get started, just let me say for the record, Commissioner O'Rourke, welcome. You are here present.
All right.
You are here. Okay, with that, Commissioner O'Rourke. I'm sorry, Commissioner Linden.
All right, well, we can let Commissioner O'Rourke get settled in and,
No, he's settled. I think you can get started. I think you can start, just so.
think so?
Yeah,
All right,
I think so. He can hear.
all right.
If you want to, let me see what the commissioner wants, and if not, did we
I
say?
think Jamie's ready for you.
No, I didn't send, no, but. No, we're not, yes, Commissioner, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. I've got this noted in a couple locations. Do we have, well, we have one stormwater technician too that is vacant. Do we have working foremen in each department?
That is correct. In division, yes, yes, sir.
So both in Public Works and Stormwater, we have working foremans.
Okay, so no, Public Works is the department, right, it's the
Right,
umbrella.
right.
And then, Public Work is the umbrella, and within the umbrella, we have 5 divisions, which each division, which is stormwater, sanitation, which sanitation has 2, but one is frozen, one is not, it's not it's vacant, the commercial one. The residential one is SAM. Then we have grounds, we have a vehicle maintenance, and we have infrastructure, which is Howard, and he has he has facilities and street and roads.
All right. It appears on the surface that we could possibly save some money for the residents if indeed we had working foremen in each department. So in here, we have a working foreman. Maybe it'd be better asked at a different department, I guess. Because if I could eliminate this vacant position for $48,000, then I wouldn't have to repost it, and I'd have $48,000 more to work with if we had a working foreman. And you say we have a working foreman in stormwater.
That is correct. His name is John Willie. He is the foreman for stormwater. We have Calvin, which is the stormwater technician 2. Then we have our new member, which is the trainees, which is hopefully we could, and I apologize because I don't know his name by heart. There are so many now. But then he's the trainees, and we're training him to convert him into a 1. And then we still have the 2 vacant. What we were doing was we were posting that 2 as a 2 and as a 1, just in case we don't have that opportunity to get that 2, but we got a 1 with the ability to bring them aboard and then train them to take them to the 2. Unfortunately, the market has not allowed us to at least identify a candidate. We did an interview today for that position, but obviously because it was already scheduled, let's see how it goes.
Okay, as I looked at, your department has one overall, your departments have one of the largest amount of payroll out there. And I was looking to see how we could trim some of that to tighten our belts. I know you did 10% exercise. Thank you for that. Well thought out. I followed all of that, but I was looking for other ways to do it. And
when I get to the few of the other departments, I'll ask specifically, but here, it wouldn't apply because you do have a working foreman, right? Okay, and if he was not a foreman, would he be a technician too?
He could, but a technician 2 doesn't supervise. So he supervised the team. He's been with the town approximately 17 years or plus.
I know I'm really
Okay.
confused, and I'm sure it's just the way that I'm not understanding. If the stormwater technician 2 is also a supervisor, why do we need a supervisor and a foreman?
No, I believe he said,
That's what I said.
right, he said that the foreman is the supervisor, and he's differentiating from your question from the technician 2. The technician 2 doesn't supervise. The foreman does.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you,
welcome.
Mayor.
No problem.
Okay. A few more questions. In professional services, the tab there, we're doing a 5-year stormwater rate study for $61,000 and change. It's mandated every 5 years, according to the state statute. I have the paper here in front of me. When was the last one done?
The last one was done on 22, 23. That's when we established the rate. That's when the study was done, and they established the rate. And then now we're here today. And actually, I send that verbiage to the statute to Barbara. when we're
So-
talking.
That being the case, could we defer that rate study for a little longer? The only thing the rate study is going to show us, in my opinion, is how much more we want to charge each resident in the town of Lake Park. I'm not a big fan of rate studies. We'll get into that at a different time. But if we could delay that, especially with November coming up, that's going to tell me a little bit more what we can and can't do. But since it's not due for 2-3 years, is that?
No, it's due by 28. What we do is we budget 27 because it has to be performed in 27 and effective on 28.
All right, so we have to do it in order to use it in 28. All right, and who sets the rate for that?
No, the study is performed by a professional. The professional does the analysis based on the needs of the town and based on what we currently have and what we currently done. Once they have that information, they provide the town commission with their observation and their recommendations. At that time, the commission is the one that defines what rate will apply. They may suggest a type of rate. Hypothetically, let's say that they suggest a higher rate. We do not have to go with that higher rate. At that time, the town commission has the ability to nay or yay or establish the appropriate rate that they want at that time. It's all driven by the vision that you want to obtain. What do you want to address, and when do you want to address it by the plan? That's it.
Commissioner Linda, do you mind if I ask a question off that
Oh,
question?
no, please go right ahead. I'm sorry, Mayor.
No, thank you. I just want to ask. The rate study that he's discussing, that's the one where we had the 5-year window of 48, 3, 3, 3, and 3, correct? And that we had voted for that as the projection
Yes.
for the next 5 years, leading up to the next rate study.
Yes.
But if I'm not mistaken, and this is where I'm trying to lead to for you, from what the rate study states, we can go back every year and readdress each individual year,
Yes,
correct?
that's correct.
Okay. Thank you. So, if we eliminated that line item for this year, brought it back in next year, would we have sufficient time to make that 2028 deadline?
I could not answer that question with certainty because it all depends, it has a time frame for them to do the study, to recommend, to bring it to commission, commission accepts, and then we meet the statute requirements. Now, if we defer it, we could. It's on the if it's the volunteer of the commission to do so, we can't. We just have to try to meet the statute requirements.
Mr. Mayor.
Town manager.
Barbara, real quick. When a new non-ad valorem, can you hear me? Okay. When there's a new non-ad valorem rate or a change in the rate, my understanding was that it needed to be to the property appraiser by July when we do our tentative millage. So my understanding was that it needed to be submitted the July before it's actually implemented. So we can verify this, but my understanding is that to be able to implement for fiscal year 2028 budget, we would need to set or at least establish what that non-ad valorem rate may be by July of 2027. So next July, we would have to have the rate study done. You guys would have to approve the rates to be able to go. We'll double check that, but that's the way I understood it to be.
I think
But
that's a question for to the tax roll coordinator.
Yeah, we'll double check that, but because the logic is remember how we used to do it every year and we changed that and we were having to do it by July of the year before.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why my understanding is that way, but we'll double check, Commissioner, just to make sure.
It's not like I want to kick the can down the road, all right? I know it needs to be done, but until I see if we have additional monies after November, it may be a little easier to do it than to do it right now. I know with the 10% cutback, we did a lot of changes, and it would just be nice to know. So, all right, we'll find out, and we got a little bit of time yet, so thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and I think the intent when we had done the rate study was to put an influx to the reserves at that time because our reserves were so low. And I believe that first year at 48% was that year to put the influx, and then the remaining years was just to level out, if I remember correctly.
So there is a requirement within the study rate that states that we have to have almost $1 million in reserves, which we currently, I mean, it needs to be certified, but our preliminary working position, we have 1.9. Obviously, it's subject to certification. You know, I did a soft analysis. The town manager and Barbara asked me to look into our finance to determine that unrestricted reserves, but it needs to be certified by finance again. That's without taking in consideration that we deferred for this next fiscal year $600,000 on pipe rehabilitation projects. So from that 1.9, you subtract that amount plus the $1 million that you have to have in reserves, you got 300 now available. And then whatever new equipment that you're going to buy, you also have to take that into consideration.
Okay. Thank you for giving us that.
I have a few more, but I have a general question that I could not answer from a resident. What do they get out of stormwater benefits at that kind of money? I say that kind of money because we all got our tax proposals, and the average stormwater charge is 50% of what we're paying in ad valorem. That's a substantial amount of money. Well, I'm comparing us, not the county and everything. So, and I ran out without my tax bill for the proof of it, but everybody's looked at that. So now with everybody trying to tighten their belts, the question was, what's in it for me as a resident? And I did not have a concrete, definitive answer for him. Could you help me with that?
Absolutely, Commissioner. So when I arrived at the town, one of the first items that I had the opportunity to at least observe and assess was the need for the town to supply a stormwater infrastructure in some areas around the town, which means that there's no existing stormwater infrastructure. And an additional component to that is we have old infrastructure which we do not have as-built. So sometimes it's just going out and doing guess estimate to go in, find where those assets are, so then we could depict them, we could log them, tag them, assess them in terms of condition, so then we can rank them, and then we could address them. Little by little, we've been doing, this year we had a program to do $104 million. Unfortunately, one of our consultants or contractors bailed out because he said he could not honor the price of the contract due to the fact of the material cost. So we were able to do some work, and we propose on this coming commission meeting to bring almost $480-ish $1,000 in work worth of pipe replacement. So we've been doing work. It's going to take a little bit of legwork because we have to identify, we have to assess the condition, rank it, determine what type of rehabilitation or improvement that asset will have, and little by little start moving forward. So the benefit that the citizens will see is the mitigation of the flooding or the flooding nuisance on areas within the town. As you know, as we incorporate these green infrastructure projects, like the Burt Bostrom projects and such, those type of projects reinforce what we're trying to do with the pipe replacement and the culverts. Then we have, obviously, to address the swale problems that we have around the town. But all those elements play a role on the entire system.
All right, interesting that you brought up Burt Bostrom Park, because the resident brought up the same thing, because we got an $11 million grant to do the park. And now that we've done the park, it seems like we're constantly adding more and more. So while it was grant money, I don't know if it was matching grants or all-out grant for the $11 million, but either way, we spent that kind of money to do that. So all right.
Commissioner, just for clarification purpose, the entire project was $11 million, but it had 4 components. It had the southern outfall pipe replacement in the marina. It had the CMP, and then it had Burt Bostrom, and now the last leg is 10th Street green infrastructure.
That's correct.
Okay. I have a note. No, hi, Barbara.
The match on that grant was $367,000.
I'm sorry, one more time.
The match on that grant was $367,000.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I have a note on here to myself, and I asked the town manager, I'm pretty sure he gave me an explanation, but the question that I have to myself, why is it higher than past costs? Why is this number higher than previous years?
What number are you referring to, Commissioner?
Well, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I moved on to disposal fees. I apologize. Yeah, I'm asking myself, I pushed the button. Okay, so that's why you didn't understand it. That's fair enough. Okay. SWA, landfill disposal, street sweeper, vacuum, spray, and dispose. debris and disposal. $1,263 for 12 months. That's a monthly fee. Why is that higher than previous years?
Those are disposal fees that we pay solid waste, the county.
I'm sorry, one more time.
Those are disposal fees that we pay the county.
So we're paying the county that's $1,260.
Solid waste. You mean the 15,158?
Yeah, but it's $1,263.18 for 12 months.
That's the average amount that's the estimated amount we pay solid waste, Palm Beach solid waste.
That's for the amount of trash
Yep.
that goes to
Yep.
their fills.
Disposal to their fields. Which is trash, but it's trash that comes from the stormwater system, Commissioner. That's why we have the vac truck and we have everything. So we clean the pipes, we remove all the debris and sediment that goes into the tank. Then we have to download that tank, let it percolate so the liquid could go out, and then we pick that up, and that's what we dump to the solid waste.
And that's a non-negotiable fee.
We wish, but
All right. Let's move over to equipment leases. We've got some time on our lease. 3 vehicles on here. 24 Ford 150, 23 Ford Transit, and a 23 Ford F550. And we're leasing those vehicles out. Do you know when those leases are up?
I believe they're with the entire fleet, and they should be on 28. Not 28, they start 24, 30, 29, 30, because they're all from the last fleet that they changed. If they're the white fleet, they're part of the white fleet.
All right. From what I see and understand on leasing those type of vehicles, we need to readjust that. We can't do it now because we'd have to pay all 3 of those vehicles off before we can get off a lease. But moving forward, I'm not sure if that's the way we maybe want to go. But all right, so if the lease is that far out, there's not a whole lot we can do on that. Okay. Yeah. All right. All right, let me move on here. Did we or did we not buy a new street sweeper?
No, we went out to bids. I brought the bids in, and I was instructed to go out for a option of getting the electrical version. It came in, and it's in queue to bring it to commission 2%.
Vacuum truck, did we get a new one, or didn't we rebuild part of it?
No, the vac truck is different. So there's different
I
components.
understand.
So the vac truck, no, we have it. It's been in shop. We're still refining some processes in-house, but it is available. The vendor is asking when are we going to, do the final purchase of the unit, but that one is in queue for a purchase.
All right, because you have $25,000 in the budget for repairs, and on a fairly new truck coming out of the shop, that's a little high, I think, but okay.
So, Commissioner, that amount was just adjusted, and we told Barbara, we spoke with Barbara and town manager, and the reason why we have $25K is because we don't know when are we going to get the new units. So we had to put that in the budget just to expect if we need to repair our old units. So at the time that the budget is approved, if we still have the old units, and they break down or they need repairs, then we had that money in the line item. Now, if we get the new equipment, then we wouldn't need that certain amount. So we adjusted the amount and we reduced it to $10,000.
All right, the next one is miscellaneous operating supplies. Sod, trailer parts, traffic cones, barricades, rakes, shovels, 22,500. That number seems real high to me.
Okay, Commissioner, this is for mulch, sod, so we include everything there. We have to do repairs in swales. We have to put mulch in. If we have to buy any type of equipment or consumables pertaining to that, that's the line item that hits those equipments or those supplies.
Do we sod every year?
If we have to sod, yes, certain areas.
All right. Let's go to vehicles for a second. You're proposing to buy a new dump truck and a backhoe for $320,000. How old is our dump truck and how old is our backhoe?
One is 18 and the other one is 17 years old.
Okay, a dump truck like a backhoe is not used on a daily basis. And they're designed to be used. They're built a little different. We're not talking about a $10,000 Kia or $15,000 Kia. We're talking about a dump truck that should last a whole lot longer if maintained and driven properly. The backhoe loader, again, 155. If we're doing some work on the streets and we need the backhoe to lift the asphalt and break it, I could understand that. But that's the exception, not the norm. So I would like, in my opinion, to take both of these, move them on at least another year or two minimum.
What's the lifespan of those?
So typically it's 10 years in the industry. Now, typically, we have to be honest, in the town, they don't have much usage. So they don't have a long-term hour use in the town, and that is correct. We cannot deny that. Now, there's different factors when you analyze a type of fleet and an asset. The age of the unit is one element, and then the usage and such. But we cannot only depend or look at the factor of the usage, because the year sometimes drive other elements within that equipment. You got hydraulic systems. You have mechanical system within the same equipment that prolonging the usage of that equipment creates risk. I'm always looking at it as conceptual terms. We've been grateful. So analyze it as an orange. We can squeeze that orange, and we've been grateful that we've gotten a lot of juice of that orange. But how much do we want to continue to squeeze just to get those additional drops, and what risk are we able to take? I don't have any opposition with the board's direction of deferring it, but I just want cautious that our risk is higher as we prolong that asset, knowing that it's more than the end of its life.
Well, it's nice to have that dream list of what you'd like to do, but when we have to get down to what we could do and what we should do, that's a $300,000 expenditure that could really benefit the town. And I understand if they break down, they need repaired. If a hydraulic line goes out, it needs repaired. But I'm opposed to buying these 2 trucks at this time. I don't know what the other commissioners' thoughts are on it, but I'm opposed to that. Okay.
Commissioner Rourke, please come into play here.
Thank you. Well, I think when you're considering the needs of stormwater function, a backhoe and a dump truck would be probably the 2 most important pieces of equipment you would need. I wonder why we need to spend almost $300,000 on a street sweeper. I rarely see it around town. I rarely see a need for it, but and then that's moved off to the next year anyway. So I think this is equipment we need to get and have and be able to use when something happens. If the stormwater breaks at some place and we have a problem, it's going to create a sinkhole issue. It's going to create damage to the area where it's failing, and a backhoe and dump truck are absolutely essential. Now, the question is, the other option would be to try to contract out for that service. I don't know what the aspects are with that, so that's it.
Vice Mayor?
Kind of torn. I do believe what Commissioner Rourke said. The street sweeper, I don't see much need for that. Don't even see it much. But I have talked to the town manager about the price of these vehicles and possibly contracting or leasing it to a company that repairs them to save the town some money. So I'm kind of really torn between the 2.
May I comment on?
Go ahead, Commissioner Rourke.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just think that the simple idea that we're going to lease and find that that's a less expensive process is not necessarily true. Would you agree with that?
I totally agree with you,
Okay.
Commissioner.
So, you got to look at these numbers. We don't know. I don't know how much a dump truck costs. I know how much a traffic ticket costs, but depends on what you did wrong. If you did something wrong. Let's not go into that discussion, though. I'm not an expert. I don't know the heavy equipment stuff. John may have been more involved in that kind of business. I don't know these things. But I know that with regard to our infrastructure, a dump truck and a backhoe would be more important. Also, a vac truck is a very important tool for stormwater maintenance. So I don't know how we do it. I'm really worried about our budget this year, so we got to figure it out. Thanks.
Let me just clarify. There's no discussion or argument about needing them both. We need them both. It's the life expectancy of these vehicles. And again, these are heavy-duty built vehicles. They're not like a cheapy throwaway car, was what I was using as an example. And they're both low mileage, which is good. And you can rip a hydraulic hose on anything, as we've seen with some of our other repairs. I just don't know if we're ready for this. Do we need them? Yes. Do we need them now? I don't think. But that's one opinion, that's all.
What's the severity of what we have now in terms of maintenance and age?
Well, I have an opinion, which I have Paul here, which he's the vehicle, he has more experience working with them, and
I'd like to hear the opinion.
Okay. Paul, could you give an opinion on those equipment, please?
Because it's one of those cases, like you said in the past, do you want to keep paying maintenance costs where you could take that amount of money within a year of maintenance costs and move that into something new and limit the maintenance cost by having a new vehicle. That's the way it is in all vehicle purchases as the time ages. And I understand that in this case that we're talking, it's not a matter of the usage, but it's a matter of the age. And a vehicle just sitting there, as I know because I have vehicles at home that just sit there, I won't say to what degree, they age. They have to move. So I'm assuming in this situation here, with it just sitting there, things deteriorate, and that requires a maintenance to do the maintenance on it. Whereas if you get a new vehicle, it's a reset, and you don't have to worry as much about maintenance. Please,
Okay.
to that.
So we'll start with the backhoe. As it said, the backhoe has low hours and low mileage. However, as you stated, it does sit. The other issue is there's a lot of other components with the machine that we haven't addressed yet. Transmission issues, hydraulic pump issues, which requires it to be taken apart in order to get to those components. That's very expensive considering what the labor rates are for repairs right now. So as the vehicle ages, those operating costs will go up, and you'll get to a point of where how do you justify putting that much money in a piece of equipment that is 17 years old or 18 years old?
Which the life expectancy, as you just illustrated, was 10. So we've already way exceeded that expectation,
Yes.
nearly doubled.
Yeah, we usually try to hold on to stuff as much as possible, but
And
there comes a point when we can't put any more. It doesn't. We're not justifiable putting any more money for maintenance in it. You're not going to get that return of investment because after we put more money in it, then we're going to have to do it again and again and again, and the cost keeps going up.
Do you have an estimate roundabout, and I'm not asking for a specific, but an estimate of how much maintenance beyond the 10-year mark that you've spent?
Oh, let's see. I think we've thrown 30,000 at it so far.
Beyond the 10-year? Because those are the years where it really counts.
Yes.
Not within the 10-year cycle.
Yeah.
And when you first purchase those vehicles, they do come with somewhat with a warranty.
Yes.
And the warranties are usually how much? How many in terms of years?
They're usually 3 to 5 years, depending on how much.
So you know within those 3 to 5 years, you're okay.
Right.
Because costs are at a minimum. But after that 5-year mark, then the number starts climbing.
Correct.
And then beyond the 10-year mark, where you're past the age of life expectancy,
Yes. It's
the
like holding on
amounts
to
are
it.
endless.
It's like holding on to a car that you love, but it becomes way more expensive to keep it. So
What my wife
it's the
tells
same thing.
That's what my wife tells me all the time about me. And I'm 25 years in.
Understood.
You didn't hear that, honey, but
I won't say anything. All right.
Okay, well, Commissioner Linda, I really just wanted to get that out there just so you can hear it, basically.
Okay. The Vice Mayor.
I got a question because now I'm thinking, and I want to make sure I have it right. We're saying that we're putting this in the budget to buy for next year, correct? But am I correct? You're saying we don't use these trucks as much? That's why they're going bad? Why would we buy more trucks if we don't use them as much?
No, Commissioner, it's not that we don't use them as much, it's that compared to other industry, they're not used as frequently as maybe Palm Beach does because we're a smaller community. It's just like our fleets, our regular fleets, they don't have as much mileage based on the year of that unit because this is a small town. But it doesn't mean it's not used. It just means it's not used as the same standard as a normal equipment would be at having that same age in another town or another industry.
No, yeah, because the reason I asked that because one of you guys said it. Yeah, if it's it tends to deteriorate. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to purchase 2 more trucks for it to sit and deteriorate.
So would you suggest to move this further down the road to deal with it at a later time in a later budget, and then keep accumulating maintenance costs
You know,
as they progress?
I'm not too much, honestly, not worried about the maintenance cost of it if we're not using it. I'm more worried about the word stormwater, and we're going to storm season.
Yeah, no, I got you.
That's my biggest worry right now.
Why I'm asking the question. That's why I'm asking the question.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
can I
sir.
make a suggestion?
Go ahead, Town Manager.
If you have two options.
Mhm.
One, you either include this in your CIP and in your budget, or you push it out. If you don't keep it in this year's budget, those dollars will probably go into your reserve.
Correct.
If that happens, if you guys make that choice to do that, and we determine that there's a need, we can always bring it back to you with the maintenance numbers, with that information, and show you then if there's a need. And we can come back to you during a regular meeting, and we can always amend the budget at that point if there's an absolute need to buy it. It'll allow our staff to go back and maybe pull some of the numbers, answer some of the questions that you're looking, and it'll still stay, because it has to stay in this fund, right? It's collected with non-ad valorem sanitation or solid or stormwater funds. So it's not a general fund issue. It's not a sanitation issue. It's those dollars have to stay in this fund. So either way, if there's a need, just like if there's a need to replace a pipe and we don't have the funding in the budget, we're going to come back to you and ask you guys to amend the budget for that fund at that point.
But cost of purchase at a later date may.
Oh, it certainly could, but it
will increase. I want to say it for the record, will increase.
it certainly could and probably will.
Okay.
But this way, it allows you guys to, push it into reserve, but allow us to go back and make the determination: do we absolutely need it, and make a better case to justify it to you.
Okay.
If you're comfortable with that.
Commissioner O'Rourke.
Thank you, Mayor. You said there was two options. I want to throw a third option out there. First of all, these are part of an enterprise fund, so they have to stay within that fund. We can't throw them into reserve for the general reserve. We have to keep them in this fund. So, and that kind of hampers us in what we can do also. So, but I was wondering if at one point we had made a consideration with partnering, getting an interlocal agreement with another municipality that's a smaller municipality that may be in the same boat that we are, that really can't afford to do that, and to see if we can create some type of program where we could have shared equipment. In exchange, we could offer them a place to keep the equipment, something like that. I don't know if that's a possibility, but I wanted to put that out there, that may be a possibility as a third option, and try to lower.
Has that ever been brought to conversation?
Not with regards to stormwater,
With sanitation.
but with sanitation.
Right.
We've had another community talk to us about that.
Right.
Yes.
That's where I
So
heard it.
you're right.
from.
That could be an option. That could be an option for
something
us
we
to look into.
could that be something we could look into?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So prior to my arrival, I believe there was a type of conversation. I don't recall what municipality was, but to merge Public Works Department with both municipalities. I don't know how far they got with the conversation, but I know that I was told about it.
I do remember the conversation. It was actually with North Palm Beach,
Yes.
and they were looking. Their facility was running out of space, and we had property that we could have shared with them in return for use of some type of shared agreement.
Maybe
That's what I
something
think
to
it was.
maybe something to revisit,
Yeah, why
and
not?
that'll take care of a whole lot more than just cost.
Absolutely. I'll look into it.
Out of pure curiosity, what are the makes of these vehicles? John Deere on the backhoe, GMC dump truck, what are they?
International, Commissioner.
Pardon me?
International, Commissioner.
Both of them are internationals?
They're both international.
The backhoe and the dump truck?
Caterpillar.
Cat, okay, so, yeah.
Equipment.
Yeah, that's one of the best pieces of equipment out there, so, all right. International's not too far behind, but Caterpillar is like, you know, the Mercedes-Benz of things, you know, they're, so, all right, that,
So if y'all are comfortable, we can move these dollars into reserves. We'll push the item out just so that it's out there.
Okay.
So it'll be in 28 or 29. So at least it's like a placeholder.
Correct. And then we'll look into.
And then we'll move these dollars and we'll look into these 3 options.
You comfortable with
The
that?
only, may I, Mayor? The only issue I have with that is if we're going to be facing an issue with regard to, I know these are non-ad valorem taxes, but they still will have an impact on our budget next year if the homestead thing is voted affirmatively.
No,
No?
non-ad valorem will be separate.
Okay, so these are all fees that,
Yeah.
That's strictly for ad valorem.
right, thank you.
Sanitation and your stormwater are based on that 5-year rate study. So that's a totally
I
separate
think
thing.
based off that, your third option is a good option to have.
Right.
all right, that's a good option. Just, we'll go out there and we'll move
I
it
would
back.
be in support of it.
Also, keeping in mind, there's also over $1 million in reserve. So don't discard that. I know that if we're digging something up and we underbid it or we break a pipe, we may need something. But if it turns out we need the vehicle, we got $1 million in there, sitting there, okay? And that's that. Okay. Everybody okay? You got that? We're all
Yeah,
set?
we're all set.
Okay.
I think we had support on that.
I don't know why that's in there.
Did you have
Okay.
any other questions you wanted to ask Commissioner Linden?
No, I was just curious about the reserve because nobody can be able to figure out how much we really need in reserve. It's a guesstimate at best. And my objective was to reduce that 3% down to take some burden off of off the residents. And we talked about that, about applying when we could reduce that, because it is that type of a fund. We have to notify the right people. So I guess we'll have to address that next year because we'll need time to do that. So we'll need, go ahead.
And you can address it in the upcoming rate study as well. So that'll give you the opportunity to, because again, that study will come back to you. What they'll recommend doesn't mean that you have to, go with those numbers. You can, and what we can commit to doing to you is before we, when we select that company, that's going to come to you as well because it's over the threshold. So when we select someone to do that, there may be an exception. They may meet the exception because it's a financial thing. But we can commit that when we do go to contract with that company and bring that to you, that they're there and you guys can give some direction on what you're looking for in that, in the fees for the upcoming 5 years. And so at least they'll have some direction and some parameters from the commission at the policy level side. And then they can start seeing operationally. Because when they develop those numbers, it's based on what we're projecting in our CIP and what our needs are, not only just in that 5 years, but for longer term. And so we can say that, hey, you're funding, 5 new trucks in this 5-year period. Do we need to do that? Can we do 3? So there are going to be some opportunities to kind of coach and give some, direction on how you want that fee to go But it is going to be based significantly on our needs. And with stormwater, a lot of times, the problem with stormwater is a lot like water and sewer. Everything's great until it's not, because you don't see it. We don't value what's underneath the road or underneath the sidewalk until the lines are, packed with trash and it's, or you see dips in the road, and that's one of the reasons why we need to do better paving, because we're seeing too much water, undermine our, the foundation of our roads and the base of our roads. And so when that happens underground with the pipe, Jamie doesn't see a crack. It just happens. And so that's why, having a lot of that preventative stuff, out there and doing a lot of that preventative stuff really helps so that we don't have those big complaints when that stuff happens. So we can do a better job of keeping you guys in the loop on that, certainly, on what we're seeing. And we can do some of that in the weekly update. We can do some of that in educating our community with videos. Those are some of the things that I know we've talked about, going out and maybe taking some videos of the street sweeper, what that does, how that works, and the purpose of it. So we can do some better education throughout the next year as well.
Does that go out for bid?
Which, the study?
Rate study.
I think it will, but inside of our procurement policy, we have certain exemptions for financial, Barbara? I can't recall. But either way, the contract will have to come back to you.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But just like you mentioned, the paving that we've already done here in the town, we've got golf carts, and if you ride around in a golf cart over some of that recently paved roads, there's some serious issues, okay, in less than a year. So, Mike, I say that because the person that does that rate study, I'd like to know a little bit more about them, what they did and so forth.
Sure.
So. Okay. I'm done with that section.
Okay. Ms. Gould, please continue.
All right. So now we're looking at sanitation. You've got, so if we're financing a truck, like you see on the first couple of lines, we're putting the principal and interest payments in each year so that you can see how we're moving forward. So the first truck is, well, are they on the same order? So the first truck is the one we're finishing, no, the one we're finishing up now. The side loader?
The one that, we're finishing to buy now.
We just finished that paperwork, okay. And then the front end loader, this is the truck that you approved month and a half, so we're working on that, the procurement side on that. We're proposing a grapple to be financed and 427 and a rear loader possibly to be financed come 28. And then once you get into those newer vehicles toward the bottom, we're working to start saving 3 years before we need the vehicle to break the cycle of financing and start saving on the interest payments. So you'll see those numbers spread out over time, trying to, again, save money. Because even with the better rates on the trucks we have now, there's still $30,000 worth of interest over the course of the loan.
I'm sorry, what was that number?
A little bit more than $30,000, depending upon the rate. In the previous financier that we used, it was $65,000. Do we have storm sanitation questions?
Vice Mayor.
Can you kind of elaborate what is professional services?
Professional services for stormwater?
Are we on stormwater? Sanitation?
Sorry, sanitation. I have to dig in my bag.
I just see it from, let me make sure I got this right. Last year was $3,000 and it's $66,000?
Rate study.
That's for the rate study.
Rate study.
Wow. Wow. I mean, we got a price on this rate study?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
And it's 2028, again, we will be doing another, correct?
So this would be the rate study to implement new rates for fiscal year '28, yes.
28, that's right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. 28 for 5 years.
Correct.
Because right now, the rate study that we did ends next year. Mhm.
I'm going to have to digest that a little bit.
I've got a, here I have savings for grapple truck, $250,000. Not quite sure why I pulled that out. Did we buy one? We're buying one? Where are we saving $250,000?
So,
It's in the budget.
yep, we're just,
I think that was, if I'm not mistaken, a balance brought forward for the intent of purchasing, so it's already an earmarked item, correct?
So we have it as you're correct, Mayor, but then we did a modification to the budget where we split that out, we spread it out for the reminders year, so we're doing the same methodology, is just trying to save those amount per year, right? So when that last year comes in, then we could purchase the unit without having to finance.
Mr. Mayor, this is a practice that we're trying to incorporate in so that there's not sticker shock. You know, what you don't want to do with your budget is not prepare and plan. We do it at home. You know, we plan for big projects. We have a new roof. We save over a year or a couple years. That's what we're trying to do now so that we can have more of a flat budget operating-wise and capital-wise rather than having these big spikes and having these large reserves and doing this. This way, we're consistently putting dollars away so that there's a dedicated funding source for these large equipment purchases so that, again, what we don't want to do is make the community think, well, where's all this money coming from? Are we increasing taxes or increasing fees? What we're trying to do is stay within our budget and plan on an annual basis, on an each year basis, that we need to put dollars away for these bigger projects or these bigger equipment purchases. Just like, you know, the concept that we've incorporated or we talked about, just like we would do at home.
So just, Commissioner, just to add to what the town manager had mentioned, what we used to do, or what I used to incorporate with Pasco County, was that we purchased an equipment and we budgeted the amount of that life expenditure of that equipment. So if we bought an equipment and we projected it was going to have 10 years of usage, then each year we had a fund that went directly to that equipment to replace it. So we called it a replacement fund. So each year we took a small amount and we put it in that line item, and it went, after that year, it went to reserves. At the last year of that asset, we already had the money available to be able to replace that equipment, and we didn't have to do a major capital investment because it was already there.
Okay. Under contractual services, $13,000 to wash the vehicle once a week, $250. Why don't we have our own washing center? I mean, you add that up over a couple years and you can buy one.
Commissioner, what's happening is that our facility does not have a system to capture runoffs. And if we do not have that, then we will be violating NPDF regulations. So this company comes and they dry clean our units, and they have containment system where they pick up the use of that water and they go. So they clean the truck, but the water and the uses that they use, they pick up because we don't have that system in our field.
There are, I don't know how many close by, but there are truck washes all over the place that do those kind of vehicles. And I don't know if we have any locally or not, but I want clean trucks, don't get me wrong. I don't like the looks of a dirty ton vehicle, it's wrong. But there's a business in town, think for a second, he does garbage trucks. He's right down the street off of 10th. What is it? Good, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. No, thank you, that's great.
That's actually the name of the company. Yes, the Good Company.
I think,
But he was eating candy at the time, so I understand the mislead.
I remember him coming in front of us as a commission and how he talked about he'd have clean trucks all the time, wouldn't do this and that. And I don't know if he has his own truck washing station or not. I really don't. But whenever you see one of his vehicles coming out of there, they're clean, okay? So the fact that the people we have are recycling or taking the water away, that's good. But man, if we could cut that in half, it would be a lot better. Wouldn't have a huge savings initially, but long term, that could save us some serious money. Okay. So maybe, are you familiar with what I'm talking with his operation?
No, but we put this out for bid, but we could encourage him and notify him to bid on it. I mean,
Let's talk about putting stuff out for bid. I hear that all the time, and there's a small group of people that follow that. There's other people that have no idea what we're even looking for. So I'm wondering if you would have the time. He's right, literally, you walk across the street and you're right there at his location. On Park and 10th, he's on the southern side. If he does, we may be able to do something with him. Put it out for bid, and he's aware of it, he may be able to. So if not, you know, it was time well invested just to meet and talk with them.
Town manager, you have something?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great suggestion. We'll certainly at least have the conversation. You know, if it's below 10,000, we don't have to bid. You know, we have to have quotes, but at the end of the day, you know, there are options within our procurement policy for a local preference where prices could be a little bit higher to support our local businesses. So we can see, you know, and maybe he has competitive bids already out there that we can piggyback and have two options for ourselves. So it's something we'll certainly look at.
And if he takes his vehicles, dump trucks, and garbage side loaders and so forth, somewhere, that may be another option, because they got to drive from our street, our drivers, back to the office, if you would, or back to Public Works. So, okay, just another option that we, all right. Emergency sanitation collection support, 28.5. That's emergency sanitation collection support.
oh,
Is that just like a placeholder in the event you have to go with a third party?
yes, that's correct.
All right,
So it's really just it sits there until.
Yes, if needed, we use it. If not, then it goes back to the fund. Bless you.
well,
Bless you, by the way.
share a horror story from the town that I hope never happens again. In a 30-day period or 28 days, we spent close to $1 million renting vehicles to pick up sanitation. And when I questioned that over and over, we had to pay the going rate, we didn't have a contract and so forth. So I'm wondering, just like we said before, if we talk to North Palm and the other surrounding areas, if our trucks are down, to be able to go to one of them at a better price versus, what is it, Waste Management or something like that? I think was the one. That number, you can wipe that out in a week. You can wipe that number out. And I'm asking just to look at other options, because I never want to live through that again. Woof. And I think I'll let my opinion go. Okay, that's good. Thank you. I'm all done.
All right.
Uh-oh. Commissioner O'Rourke.
Commissioner O'Rourke, go ahead.
Yes, I'm, excuse me, I'm going to the CIP plan. I want to, the way you have it laid out here, and I'm kind of talking to both you and Barbara, you have highlighted in yellow those things that are included in our budget this year, correct? So when I look at those items, you have a side loader, you have another side loader that you'd like to replace that's not included, it's pushed off a year later. The next one you have is a front end loader. Those are our commercial pickup stuff, right? You have another one, again, pushed out to another, actually 2 years out. So then we got the grapple truck, and that's included in the budget this year. And then you have a second grapple truck that's included in this year's budget. Do we need to get 2 new grapple trucks?
All right, we have 3 right now.
Oh, come on, you got to give me a better answer than yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, why?
Okay, so currently we have 2, we have 3.
And explain to me, so I know what it is, but people that may be looking in on us don't know what that is.
So
What does that mean?
the grapple truck is mainly used for bulk and for vegetation.
It's the claw arm,
Yeah,
right?
it's the claw. It's the one that has the arm, and is the one that picks up the garbage. So right now we had 2 out, but now 1 is back in service. So we got 2 that are functioning. 1 is out of service. These are old equipment. I think the youngest one is from 29, if I'm not incorrect. So we have to start.
Life expectancy.
It's the same. It's like 7 to 10 years. Good use and good maintenance. Now, what drives the cost on these equipment is the arm. The repetition of using that arm is that hydraulic system. Every time it breaks, it costs a lot. You will see probably soon a quote coming up to replace, and we're talking about probably $25,000, $27,000 just to replace that arm, that system. So as you start adding up, and these are old equipment, and they've been having a maintenance issue, then you come to that question again. Do you continue to invest on something that you know you have to replace, or do you replace it, patch it, and continue on, but assuming the risk that if something else happens, you have to reinvest again to put it in function?
With regard to the grapple arm truck, is there an option? And I'm just throwing these things out here because I come up with weird ideas, and sometimes, every once in a while, it hits, So is there, there are smaller hydraulic equipment that you can get that, as an example, like you have a tractor that has a backhoe or something like that. Is it possible to get another type of equipment and just have a kind of a bed truck to take the bulk? That's my first question. The second thing is, we also, and this is kind of directed at my fellow commissioners, we provide services to our town that a lot of municipalities don't provide. We're one of the last municipalities that do bulk pickup. Bulk pickup is very dangerous to this equipment because you never know what the weight is going to be and the stress that it's going to put on that equipment. I'm suggesting we're heading into a year that I'm worried about the expenses and the cost and the fees that are going up and up and up. And it's getting more expensive to live in Lake Park. And we need to address that issue. So with regard to that, maybe the service component of it should turn to, yeah, we'll still do bulk, but it's going to be once a month or something different, every other week, whatever it is. And so we could approach that. Now, I know I hear some groans, but, to tell the residents, hey, you're going to lose services, the reality is, well, we're going to, we have to be able to afford the services that we're providing. And if it's getting to the point where it's getting so expensive that we can't provide those services at a price that's reasonable to our citizens, then maybe we should look into those aspects also.
Vice Mayor?
Yeah, I actually agree with that, but I think we're kind of jumping the gun, and it's something we're honestly going to have to look at this after November.
Right.
The services that we do provide. So I don't think I think you guys do a really good job. That's one thing. I think sanitation, I love it so well, picking up bulk trash. However, we got to look at the wear and tear, like Commissioner O'Rourke said, on the machines. But I think that's something we're going to have to look into, like cutting service, but something I'm kind of willing today to kick down the road a little bit.
And if I can just add on to what I was saying, I was going to add also that another service modification that we could look into are the recycling bins. We could do one week and then the other color the next week. It looks like you've already divided them up now into 2 different color pickup days, correct?
Yeah.
And so maybe by extending that out 1 week, then the other, that might help us alleviate some of our fee raising issues. Thank you.
And you go once a week on those? With
On what?
pending now,
Okay,
or you're
yep.
going twice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as bulk pickup, this is something we may take a hard look at if we need to add additional cost to the residents. It is a great service, but there's a couple rental units near me, and you can always tell when they change tenants. Is it's pile out there, right?
Yep.
And so, okay.
Just to clarify, Commissioner, those are considered special pickups when that happens. So we charge them additional for that.
Special pickup?
Yep. Especially if it's
But if
off
they
the day.
put it out on the day of bulk, it gets picked up.
It does get picked up, but it depends on the quantity that's picked up. So we charge them, we send them a bill, letting them know, we notify them that we will pick it up, but it's considered a special pickup, and we charge them a dumping fee for it.
Okay.
I know you guys do. Way back in the days, I found that out.
If you get a big load of stuff outside of, for example, I'm just throwing this out there because I know it's happened in the past, Umani Court, for example. There was an area there where contractors used to come and just dump stuff. Do we
Illegal
still
dumping?
have that issue going on in our town?
In some areas, 12th Street, we still have some. So we've been
It's
putting.
on 7th, right?
So we've been putting our minds together and putting a plan. Obviously, the town manager has requested and suggested to look at everything and how we do business and if there's any possibility to modify the services that we provide and such. One of our options, which to deal and address that situation of the illegal dumping is to, and we implemented this solution in Pasco, is to get some type of camera that literally records in these areas as movements. And if you're dumping, it's able to take pictures, and then we could retrieve those pictures and then work with code enforcement to see if we could citate them or such.
Well, again, and I'm sorry to keep harping and throwing stuff out there, but with regard to that, the code may not be adequate to address this issue. These fines for doing that should be mega fines. This is a problem that has happened in our town. It's a problem that creates burdens on our sanitation systems that they should have to account for if they break that law. It's a problem. And they know they're not doing right when they do this. They know they're breaking the law, but maybe we should look at that as an ordinance aspect also. I know that's not a budgetary thing. I'm kind of addressing this to the town manager, that maybe we need to look at that as the punitive measures need to be bumped up a bit so that we can maybe even use that as a way to bring revenue to the enterprise funds. I don't know if that's allowed, but it's just an idea.
Well, we could address it through stormwater as well.
Yes.
Stormwater has that illegal dumping is codified by the MPDS and it's covered as well.
You may also want to look out here at our trash compactors out here, because they're being utilized outside of our scope as well, primarily on weekends, as I've seen. So, okay.
Next, we have the Marina Fund. All 4 items that are proposed in the 27 CIP have been funded in the Marina's budget. Are there any particular questions or concerns about those 4 items?
And that being the piling replacement, the resurfacing of the boat ramp, the dock boxes, and the Wi-Fi upgrades, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Town manager, sorry.
Yeah, just a couple quick things. These items, we're not proposing to utilize fine grants. As I probably talked to each of you individually, or we'll try and stay away from those types of grants because, we want to try and see that, the current grants that we already have expire, because then we can do some different things with regards to funding and resident versus non-resident costs and fees, depending on how that goes down the line. But not just in this CIP, but in all of our CIPs, we'll continue to work on the out years. You'll see here, there's a couple, we have it in the first couple years, and we're still working. This is a new process for us, and so bear with us. We'll continue to work on these so that you can see what our projects and plans are for a number of years out, so that there's just more of an understanding of what our needs are to make our facilities and, just first class for our community that, with what we can afford. So.
Are there any questions for Barbara on this particular item? Commissioner O'Rourke.
One that's not in yellow, but I want to ask it anyway because it's something that I'm interested in. You have the Marina CVA grant. You got a grant for that, Jason, right? For the pump out?
Yes.
Is that, and I'm seeing a number there. That looks like a good number. How'd that go? Is it in place?
It's been ordered.
Okay,
You guys have approved it.
Right.
You guys have approved the purchase, and they've ordered it, and as soon as it's here in, I guess, a couple months, it will be installed. So we're excited. Jason's excited.
yeah, and but
What
that
Rich said.
is, the reason why it's not in yellow there is because it's a grant, right? It's not included in the,
And it's also being funded in the 2026.
I'm sorry?
It's being funded in 2026.
Current year.
Oh, I see, okay, so that's why I missed that then. That's why it's not there. I was kind of wondering where the number went. It was on as a total, but not as an FY year. Okay,
Yeah, that was one we approved recently.
yes.
And then right away, right, almost the day after, the order went through.
Yes.
Yep, yep. That's,
And the pump
that's
to
a big
be-
win.
Yes.
A big win.
Right.
Yes.
And we appreciate DEP helping us with funding. Of course, Jason Merrill have been working on that for a while, and I think there was some transition over there, and the vendor himself, really worked with us. Had a conversation with him and Jason, and he really committed to getting this project going as soon as it was approved. So appreciate the vendor as well.
One last question with regard to resurfacing the boat ramp that says the number they have there is $40,000. That seems actually kind of very low for that repair.
So it's just for the north side where there's some exposed rebar.
Okay.
And the
Oh, it's like a
concrete's
patch
kind
on
of
that area.
degrading. And that number was provided by John Willie, so.
Okay. And, all right. That explains it. Thank you.
All right, we're good over here. Commissioner Linden, you good? Thank you, sir. Ms. Gould?
Last one is the CRA. This is one of our busiest ones. They have a lot of projects. So in 27, the projects that are in there, are funded or the money is being set aside for those projects. So those dollars may not all be spent, but they will be saved and set aside and reserved for those specific projects.
So basically, all of them will be like earmarked for when we address those items.
So, correct.
But if we don't do anything, they are just there.
They will sit there
It-
and move forward. They'll move forward and they'll stay in the reserve and move forward to the next year.
Now, the one where you have the design and construction of the LEDs here, the information signs, that's something we're going to look into sooner rather than later, I believe. Okay, and then I just want to get in there before you guys.
Mr. Mayor, real quick about that.
Sure.
Real quick, if I could just just talk to you guys real quickly about
Go ahead.
what we were planning on doing was bringing back to maybe some, you guys already saw some sample designs.
Yes.
We can go out and go to bid and do that right away. And then we can have a sign company come in and, do some proposals or do something like that. What do you guys want? How do you guys want us to do that? Do you want us to talk to you guys as maybe a workshop, have a quick workshop, give us some general guidelines of what you like? I know I've spoken to some of y'all, and I know what some of y'all are thinking, but as a group, this way we can put some specs together, understand, because what's going to take the longest part of this is probably negotiating the easements, and getting people to dedicate, and we're going to have to probably maintain that small little clip where it's going to be provided, and so that's probably going to take the longest time, but getting the design and getting the scope is going to be critical for us so that we can at least go out to bid on them.
Vice Mayor?
I would like to see it happen right away. Just as Commissioner Rourke mentioned maybe last week or 2 weeks ago about the Oval, we kind of need something to happen. But just to touch up on your point about the signs, if we just get kind of a consensus of where we want to go with. We know how big they are, so when we have to negotiate those easements, we know what we're negotiating because what they'll be. But I do like the public, workshop thing and all that. But maybe we could just do a presentation and have the public come down in a commission meeting.
During a commission meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I would
presentation
be
that.
more preferable.
Or during a CRA meeting, actually.
I would be more
CRA,
preferable
sorry.
for a CRA meeting.
Okay.
Because some of our CRA meetings sometimes go pretty quick. But, obviously, if you have something of substance to provide to us to see and marinate on, we can get it through.
So
And
if-
we'll just make sure that the regular one is
Yeah.
a little lighter.
So the thought that I had was, and I want to make sure, so maybe we had 5 different types of signs
Yes.
that look like, they matched our character, our culture, what we're looking for. And then you guys maybe pick 1 or 2, not that sign, but that design or that style of sign. And then we can go out for an RFP, and then the sign company can work with us. With an RFP, it doesn't have to have the exact specs. They can give us a proposal on what they think might work for us. Would that be something that you guys are thinking, or because we kind of have to lock in on one
This is-
type?
This is how ahead I am about the game. I already told you, just seeing this picture, what sign I like. Like,
I know.
if we can get going tomorrow, it will be great for me.
Okay.
But it's 4 other people up here too, so.
Yeah.
I would say just provide us with some information and some illustrations.
All right,
And we'll do it during a CRA meeting.
all right. We can do that.
Commissioner Rourke.
I'm going to make myself perfectly clear on this. I'm not in favor of this. I think this is a bad use of our money right now. We don't need LED lights out there in an area we're working to improve later. We should improve the area and then put the signs out. The improvements will draw people. The signs are not going to do anything. I see no need to put that kind of money out for these more consultants, more designs, more
No, I don't think.
spending things before anything really happens. I'm looking at the mobility fee on the 10th Street Oval and wondering, the funding comes from mobility fees. I don't know what funding is involved there. We are kind of put ourselves in a position where we agreed to let the county have the mobility fee, and then we're subject to the graces of the county for those funding.
Are you talking about the first line item?
Yes,
there?
I am,
Thank
and
you.
I'm comparing it to the construction and design of the LED.
Town manager, you want to give some clarity to that?
Yeah, what we're looking to do is
you.
utilize the town's mobility fees. The county collects transportation. It seems silly, but not to correct anybody, but the county collects transportation impact fees. We're collecting a mobility fee.
And
So,
we do not collect it.
no, we collect our own mobility fee.
We don't
For us.
collect the counties. The counties collect their own. We've instituted our own mobility
That's
fee.
right. And what we were doing with our mobility fee update that we were looking to do was then we were going to try and collect theirs for county roads. So we can keep the dollars here in our town rather than, so what we were going to do is use some of our mobility fees that we've collected thus far, utilize CRA fees, and then utilize, I think it was, what was it, $250,000, $500,000 that the county was committing to help with the roundabout.
Correct.
So that's how we're looking to fund the
Because
roundabout.
that includes Prosperity Farms, which is their road.
That's right. They were committing to do some of that. So this budget will allow us to fund that and go forward with that. We just got to get the interlocal with the county, which Nadia has been working through, not only on that, but also Park Avenue Extension. So it's just, we're continuing to work on that. We'll get that agreement to you guys, hopefully, and then we'll be able to go forward with this project. So that is a priority, absolutely needs to. doesn't look good with all the big, what we've even talked about is, well, no, well, with the barricades, and we've had those barricades there on 10th for how long, and so that's something that Jamie and Nadia and I've talked about is, can we at least even, if we're going to do traffic calming, and that's kind of what that's supposed to do, can we at least do on-street parking to slow people down there too? That's just striping. And we can get rid of the barricades and do some of that. And we can do that all the way down 10th, back to Park. And that's what we're looking at there too. But that roundabout is critical for us, and we want to get that interlocal with the county. That's because we can't keep waiting on the state. We don't know if we're ever going to get that money. We've got to just move forward with that. We can find other appropriation dollars.
But I mean, I agree with Commissioner Rourke's sentiment on wanting to get the big items done first, and I believe we can get it done. Like, for instance, my biggest pet peeve is 10th Street from Park Avenue South. My barber is there, and I've gone in there, and so many people have looked at me like, pointing to the road as if, is there any time soon this will be addressed?
Yeah.
And I've indicated to them that, yes, we've made measures, we've had workshops, and we have funding to utilize, not weaponize, but to utilize for that purpose. So that's going to be a big change, and it speaks to what Commissioner Rourke is saying.
And it needs to be done.
And it absolutely needs to be done.
And one of the things we're going to talk about there too, we're gonna look at some different things too. Of course, we're going to do some street furniture, the same kind of street furniture, and trash cans that we have on Park, kind of tying that all in. One of the things that the historic preservation folks showed me was way back when, I guess by the fire department, we used to have an entrance.
Yeah, like an archway.
An archway.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to you about that. Is that something that maybe we do on both ends of 10th so that you feel like you're coming into something special? We're gonna really try and encourage it when you're turning on to 10th from either Silver Beach, Water Tower, coming over Dixie and coming that way, or coming off of North Lake, that you're in a special place. We want that to feel like you're driving into something different. You're walking into something different. You're biking into something different. So that's why, when we're looking at 10th South from Park, that's why we have Nadia involved, our community development, we have CRA. We're incorporating all the departments so everyone can kind of have a say in what's going on. We're working with the businesses to see if they will participate. So we're excited about it. We're gonna make these are all priorities. That's why we want to get them in the budget now and in the CIP, whereas in the past we haven't. That's why we're doing it, so that we're held accountable that it's in the budget.
And again, whatever they present doesn't necessarily mean we have to commit at the time. But we would like, in this terms of the signage. But
the LED signs?
Some of us would like to.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
But we need to know what you guys.
Correct. Correct. There's a process.
Yeah.
Vice Mayor.
Everything's in yellow. We're working on in the coming year, correct? So we have the oval about, which I really honestly think we need. If you drive over that area now, like the cones and a big pothole you dodge every morning in the middle of the road, there, like, try not to hit it. It's going to sink your car.
Traffic calming. It's traffic calming.
Once I hit it, I'll let you talk to my attorney.
Why don't you slow down?
Then you have the south end. We went to that workshop. That was actually a really nice workshop. So you have the south and the north coming together.
Correct.
And then, we have these signs. I believe in spending, I think we were talking about it last time, the money we spend on those little, which is nice. I don't know what they call them.
Yeah, like the vinyl signs.
The vinyls.
Yes,
we spend a lot of money on those. If we can just change the billboard where they are, set those somewhere down Park Avenue or in the CRA area, and people know what's going on. I hear what's going on, and we're going to be having a lot of different events. So having those signs just to change will help us save money. Plus, give it a lively nightlife. I don't drive much at night, but when you come down Park Avenue at night, nothing stays lively.
Correct.
And I think that brings a glare to it. If you go around, a lot of the Palm Beach County School District went to initiative giving all new billboards. you ride by their school, even at night, it looks a little lively
Well,
because you see what's going on.
another thing is a lot of our businesses in that downtown are open during the day. I took a drive through there at night, and you have one or two on Park Avenue. You have Coastal Karma, which is going in. Then you have Ceviche on the other side. Panda's Hideout, which closes early, but then that's where you have that kind of dead space. If we could have something there to kind of direct.
And we have a lot of good food in this area.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some really good restaurants in our community, and in the either in the downtown or right outside the downtown.
I'm sure you know Rich.
I do know.
And we're going to have two more new coming in.
And we have two more new ones, and so hopefully this will, and hopefully this will drive and activate some of these areas, and so we're excited about that. And
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
While we have our director here, do you know when that restaurant is going to open?
I know that they're interviewing. I've heard different time frames, but I would say within the next few weeks is what I've heard.
Okay,
So-
because I spoke to the owner. He was out there and talking to somebody, and I said, "Are you getting ready?" And he said he was waiting for the fire department approvals and things like that. So
Right.
it sounds like when they're doing that, when you're going, that's your approval process. You're right near the end of the process. So
Seen a lot of movement in and out of those buildings.
They've done a lot of work. We are going to talk to you guys too. Sorry, we're going to talk to you possibly on the 2nd about 3 new economic incentive programs for the CRA as well, to help support our new businesses but help drive people downtown. One of them is, or to maybe improve some of the look. One of them is doing a window program so that people can put something in the window so it doesn't look like just a vacant building, kind of like you see at the mall where it looks like people are there and shopping and doing that kind of stuff.
The Kelsey
Not that
City
one. What's
Cash.
the other?
Okay, so we have the vacant window wrap program, the Kelsey City Cash, which is like the voucher program.
Yeah.
And then we have our Clean and Safe Economic Activation Initiative.
And that's where we're gonna propose to support private events that want to be, to private folks doing public events, and where we're helping to do that, so it's not our cost to do public events downtown. We're encouraging like an art festival or those kinds of things to come to our downtown and help with some of that support. The other thing I think is exciting is we're looking at doing this program called Kelsey City Cash. And it's kind of like a voucher program where an entity works with us. They commit to doing a marketing plan, they commit to being open during our events, different things like that. And we would give those dollars out, those Kelsey City Cash bucks, and then it would allow them to go into participating vendors or stores. And maybe they would never shop downtown, but because of that, it's almost like a coupon or a discount to help them go into our businesses and see and get them walking around, looking and doing different things in our downtown. And that's actually something that other communities have done. In fact, Boynton Beach, where Renee came from, is how that idea came to us. They called them Boynton Bucks. We thought it'd be great to call it something that has history to us. And by getting our businesses to participate more and communicate more, Leanna and Renee are going to be hosting the businesses down in the 800 building, hopefully on a once a month with Jesse, that program, getting our businesses communicating and working and supporting them and letting them know. The other thing that they're looking to do and they're working hard at is maybe doing a program where they do door hangers in the residential neighborhoods as well, right, and letting people know about our grant programs, encouraging our slum and blight, these areas that are in our town that meet that condition, and helping them and educating. We've already done that with some of the businesses, and you're going to see a couple businesses coming forward that pretty much didn't know about our grant programs, and because we're communicating and touching those businesses, they're now engaged and wanting to spend a lot more money than the money that we're giving them grant money for. So we're excited about all these, the changes that both Leanna and Renee are making.
That's correct.
Okay. Commissioner O'Rourke.
I'm gonna address this to the both of you, and maybe you can help me out with this. I am one of the few people that live in this town that actually goes out in this town at night. I play music over at either the Brew House or Coastal Karma has music there also. I'm not a beer drinker though, so I don't want to say anything about that. But have you been into those places, and have you talked to the ownership there and asked them what things they need? Because I hear you saying, oh, these are great ideas, but if we're not communicating with the businesses, how do we know what it is that they need?
Right, exactly. So we are trying to reach all of the businesses within the CRA district, and so we have been to Brew House. I know Renee has gone to Coastal Karma, but not to discuss CRA initiatives. She kind of went over there after work and everything, but that's why we're trying to invite the businesses to the CRA building so that we can initiate those conversations with them if it's a business that we didn't already reach on our normal business walks.
One of the things that I've asked Leanna and Renee to do is that at least 2 times a year, every business in our CRA is touched. And by that, I mean going into the business, talking to them, educating them. And it's not just Renee and Leanna doing it. They're also going with a PBSO officer so that they know that there's that touch as well on the safety side.
That's good.
So it's something that we're getting to the point of exactly what I think where you're at. We want them to know what's going on, but we also want to hear how we can do better. You know, that's one of the things that I heard when we were talking particularly with Brew House. You know, the expectations that was maybe there, you know, from a few years ago, and my commitment to the owner was we're going to do better than maybe that. And so that was when they came on, that was one of the directives that I said, we have to meet. We have to be able to talk to these businesses and touch them.
Well, I mention that because of those 2 businesses I'm very connected to, not for the alcohol reason, but actually for I'm a musician, and those are art businesses. The Brew House is actually an art gallery, right, as well as a venue for entertainment. Yes. And the Coastal Karma has their own little niche that they do, but they're really, both of the owners there, one of them just now, the owner at Brew House, was getting ready to close up. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't.
And someone came in and they made offers, and as a result of it, they may be doing something different. I don't know. But they really could use a hand to. Both of them have been in this town well over 10 years now, trying to survive this process where we don't seem to expand, and it becomes a very difficult process to open a new business in this town. So
right. I
look
what our
forward to you
initiatives
trying to solve that problem. Because
yeah, that's what our initiatives are hoping to address too, is just coming alongside the businesses and offering them assistance and driving that foot traffic to their organizations as well.
And that's not to diminish Jesse and his group of people who also, during the daytime, have very good businesses, but have a hard time getting people to understand they're there.
Exactly.
So, thank you.
Vice Mayor?
Because you just brought it up. I don't think I ever said this, but I really appreciate the videos you guys put out on the business. They're nice. I don't know if Merrill have a lot to do with it too. They're nice. It's like the first time that I actually go on social media and see what's downtown and to talk about what's going downtown, not just Brew House, not just Jesse Spot, but everything's going down. So I do like the highlighting of doing that because honestly, like my sister who lives here, they wouldn't even know what what's going on in Lake Park for that. So I appreciate you guys doing that.
Thank you
is
for
one
that.
thing.
Yeah, Renee's doing an excellent job with the social media posts, and when we do reach out to the businesses, that is something that they ask for as far as assistance is concerned, if we can help promote their business, and so she has hit that one on the head, for sure.
Phone calls from the businesses saying, hey, what about us? And so.
Well, that's a good thing.
And that's exactly, they're seeing that there's some success there. And Renee's going right over and doing, they're quick and easy. It's not, and if we all, and I would ask the whole community that if you're on social media and you're seeing these videos, please share them. Please forward them on and do that, because you're only helping our own, our town. If it's only coming from the CRA and the city or from you guys only, we need everyone to keep sharing these so that people outside of our group and our community, see it and want to come downtown too.
And I believe the videos has to be working, because I know a neighboring town north is starting to do the same videos and starting to do the same thing, walk around with the lives and do the videos. So, yeah, it has to be working. Somebody's watching, so it's working.
And Mayor's, thank you, Mayor, too. You've done a lot with that too, so
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
It is.
That's right.
So you can see there's a lot of excitement from staff on going forward, and we think, there's a lot, Renee's seeing a lot of great stuff down in Boynton and that area, and so she's bringing some of those ideas. Leanna's, creative and got a lot of great ideas, and we're looking at seeing what other communities are doing, and we're not shameful enough to borrow what other cities are doing too, and kind of, if it works, just like you said about we're willing to do the same.
So just to comment on what the mayor just said, he said, teamwork makes the dream work. I just wanted to remind you that that's the new motto for the New York Jets.
Well, I'm sorry.
I mentioned that because we're kind of
That doesn't
winding
mean we're going to
down now.
win, though,
So
but it doesn't mean we're going to. It just means that we're a team.
Dreaming
We're
still.
dreaming. We're,
Well, I would hate to disappoint you, but I would pick Leanna's team any day of the week over the Jets.
Okay, all right, there you go.
Just saying.
I don't follow sports.
I
The
guess I know
Dolphins.
that.
No problem.
Sorry, Lynn.
Okay.
So maybe, sometime in September, maybe the second meeting in September or early in October, we'll bring you maybe just some updates on where we are with some of these projects.
Absolutely.
But particularly with the signs, so we can get a design or at least a style that you're interested in, and that way we can move forward with it.
And just to let you know, Commissioner O'Rourke, I did hear from the owner of that new steakhouse, and they're looking at September time. They had to push back a little bit. They were going to do a soft opening, but they have some hurdles still to address.
Please let us know when you know better.
Commissioner Lynn.
We're going to do this all in-house? The signs, the display, talk about what we like, what we don't like?
The signs, we'll hope, we're going to bring you the types of signs that we see out there that we think, would be exciting and vibrant and help to activate the downtown. And then from there, we'll probably, find out from those communities what those specs were, and maybe even be able to piggyback from those areas, so we can maybe even move even quicker. So
We're not looking to hire consultants for this, are we?
that's not our intent to do that. Now,
That's a really good question.
yeah. Yeah, I can't say that there might not need to be some electrical stuff and things that we need to deal with, but the intent is to go out to bid and kind of do that all turnkey.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Leanna. Barb?
Just for the sake of saying it, the marketing, the promotion, the activation, even the signs, that's one of the reasons and the justification for our two positions in the CRA. So we're going to continue, that's why we have an administrator and we have a marketing person. So the things that we're talking about, the things that you're seeing, that's rather than using consultants, and that's us doing the work in-house. And I think there's a savings there to us. And I think you get sometimes a really great product when you do it in-house.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Gould?
Don't leave, I have a question or two. Okay.
Hold on, Ms. Leanna.
Thank you.
Commissioner Linden.
Under contractual tab, $188,000 to landscape the CRA parking lot in Centennial Memorial Park.
Right.
Why are we not doing that in-house?
We're going to be exploring other.
These were contracts that came to you guys. You guys have approved these contracts. I will tell you one of the things that I've asked Leanna to look at now that she's here is to work with Jamie and go through those costs. And I think not only just there, but also at the marina, but for the CRA purpose that you're talking about is looking at those costs. Can we do that in-house? If we don't have the staff, what is the cost for us to bring in the staff and be able to do that work? Some of it's specialized, like out at Burt Bostrom, when you're doing turf work, there's some specialized, knowledge that you have to have. There's some specialized equipment. Can we bring in someone? Can we train them to do that? Can we work with the gardens and for me, the gardens in Boca have two, first-class facilities, and they have, can we send our staff there for a week and learn and do that same thing here? I've asked the manager in other cities that I've worked in to do that, and they've been willing. I think that they'd probably do that, but we have to sit and get that analysis done. But until we do that, and if it determines that we have to bring in staff to be able to do it, if it's still below that number, then it makes sense for us to do it. We just have to go through that process and get there. Until we do that, we have to fund, the full amount until we can make the determination.
Centennial Park's such a small stamp. And I don't know, what are we doing at the CRA parking lot that we need maintenance?
Well, we have hedges and they do trash pickup and everything, so.
Oh, yeah, and that's
we do
stuff.
have a little bit. There's a little bit in the CRA.
Yeah, there's a little bit there, stuff that we do
We have
all
the
the time.
parking lot behind the 700.
But when we priced it out, we priced out the whole area there, so they're doing it all under that same contract.
So,
Yeah.
so
It's the Chris Wayne contract.
Just repeat it, Leanna. You said behind the 700 building.
We have Park Avenue, 10th Street, the CRA parking lot, and Centennial Park.
Okay, I say Jamie running up, he's possibly going to add more to that, I'm assuming?
So this is the contract that does the entire corridor, Park Avenue. They do Centennial Park. They do Burt Bostrom, and they also do the back areas, or what we call the alleyways.
Correct.
So,
The-
yeah,
the-
and
the
10th
east-
Street.
the east- Basically the easement.
Yes, the
areas.
easement and 10th Street.
Okay.
So this is Chris.
And we know that number seems high, and that's why we want to do the analysis. It's a big area, and that's why we have to look at it. And,
All right.
you may have to hire, he's a landscape architect, that's also, that service is in there. So, if we're going to there's a lot of trees, we'd have to have an arborist, so we'd have to look at that, and we have to make sure that if we can do it, we're going to bring it back and certainly look at if there's an opportunities. But we also want to make sure that we can service it, and keep the area looking first class.
Under seasonal, thank you.
Sure.
I don't know how many times we're going to pay for this Christmas tree, but it's $30,000, all right? And they put it up, they decorate it, they take it down, and they store it. Big number. I was confused with the holiday lights at $136,000. That's what cost us to do up and down Park Avenue from 7th up to 10th?
Yeah, that's another contract that we have.
When was the last time you reviewed that contract, or have you?
I have, and it expired, this is the last year of the contract.
And we'll
Okay.
go out to bid on that. We've talked about the Christmas tree. Does it, and same comment, does it make sense for us to go ahead and buy it and even get a rental, like a storage unit, and store it ourselves if we don't have the location to do it? So we're looking at that. We're going to look at that this year as well.
Okay.
So we
All
may
right.
come back to you later and say, hey, we have $30,000 to rent it. Here's the number it is to buy it. We like to do that. So we just have to do it now. With Leanna just getting here and trying to get all this, we wanted to make sure that we had the budget in there in case we weren't able to get it, but with the season coming quickly. But it is an analysis that we are going to look at and determine how can we do this a little differently.
All right. I saw a real nice Santa chair for $50,000. Are you interested?
50,000.
Is it
Oh,
on wheels?
really?
Does it have an engine?
Oh, really?
Motorized.
Does it have an engine? Yeah.
All right.
Is it electric or gas?
Diesel.
Wow. Okay.
right.
Boom.
I love the promotions down there. They've been very, very successful. So the one thing that's been mentioned a couple times, when you're coming up US 1, not that you could turn left onto Park Avenue anymore, or right. We won't even get into FDOT, what they've done, but wouldn't it be nice for an entryway to light up the remainder of Park Avenue down to US 1, like something's really exciting going on to drive that traffic up?
Unfortunately, that can't go on.
That would be a
that'll
separate in CRA.
That's not CRA.
That's right, it's outside.
Yeah.
He's
On
saying,
Park
from 7th going east to US.
Now, we
1.
may be able to do something down by Silver Beach because I think that part is in the CRA. At Silver Beach and Federal. But anything north
Yeah,
would be
that's
in the,
right.
in the, so.
Doesn't mean it can't be looked into, though.
No, because unless you know it's there, you're not turning.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that's, and that's why, when we talk about the LED signs, we're also going to talk about one on Federal too, so that we can let people know what's going on in Federal. We have all those folks going, through there. Maybe over by Kelsey Park and Park Avenue, somewhere there.
All right, and
So-
I think that's the last one I had in that category. Improvements. 500,000 for roadway improvements, various locations in the CRA.
Yes.
That's an earmarked item,
Yes.
so it's just there simply put for when there's an excess.
No, this is
Or is
actually
this-
planned to, just like we did in current year,
Right?
to actually do road paving and sidewalks within the various roadways. And rather than taking out of general fund to be able to make some of those improvements, having
But
those
it's
funds
an allocated fund that's earmarked.
for this year.
Okay.
For this year to do
LED,
that.
CRA information signs. Is that what we were talking
Yes,
about
sir.
earlier?
Yeah.
100,000 for each for four.
Yeah.
400,000. That seems a little heavy, but.
We don't know exactly what the number's going to be, so
I can tell you they don't want that much, but.
I don't
it's going to
think
be,
so either.
they're going to, yeah.
But.
I don't think so.
I get what you're saying. It's a budget. You don't know what it's going to cost, so.
Yeah,
You're just earmarking it.
that's what we're doing.
All right, the clock tower public sound system. Once that's done, that's going to be great. If it's programmable for different seasons,
Right.
and the clock needs to work, and the bell needs to go.
I think we fixed it.
Yeah.
Jamie, the clock is now working, correct?
The clock
Yep.
works.
When did the clock start working? Oh, okay, thank you.
I drive by it every day, and I look
Yeah. Good. Well, thank you for ever got that done. That was
Golf
good.
cart ride to see it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's tomorrow for sure.
Thank you, Jamie
The,
and team.
well, the others with the stamped concrete design and construction for $250,000.
That's for 10th Street.
Yeah.
And 10th Street's one of the worst that we have, so, okay.
And again, we're waiting for an engineer's estimate on that. So that's the number that we think that it's going to be. So
it's a-
once we
it's-
get the engineer's estimate on what those additional costs will be, if it's higher,
So it's another earmark.
it's just another place. Again, being that this is a contained fund, the revenues that are earned in this fund or stay in this fund, it's a lot easier to move those dollars, from reserves
Correct.
to.
The point is, as long as
That's-
they have a purpose.
That's right.
It makes things easier
That's
when you
right.
roll it.
That's exactly.
CRA 101.
And
There you go.
We came to an agreement with the Police Athletic League.
We are very, very close to bringing that contract to you. Riuniti has worked hard on that, along with the captain, and yes, we are very close, and that's exciting. We're looking at potentially a 5-year deal, which is what we've communicated to them, depending on if there's a community center, so we had something.
Yeah.
They would provide all of the staff, all of the funding on an operational basis. We would fund the cost of the electric and the water and things like that on an annual basis. And we would connect basically their new facility. They're looking at putting a new double wide where the single wide is. And then later on, they may contribute to redeveloping the concession stand. So we're looking at all of that. Nadia's worked on that as well. Everyone, Jamie, it's been a lot of folks working on it. That would almost, and I know particularly Commissioner O'Rourke, the mayor, all of y'all really, have wanted to see more children's programs and sports programs.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
This is something that, again, they've been fighting for as well to bring. This hasn't just been us, because we didn't ask for it. They came to us. And so they're fighting to bring it here. And it's exciting that this has happened. And again, the captain,
It's too bad we couldn't go longer than 5 years.
well, we can. It's just, we didn't want to lock into that in case we had a community center, because then we would move them into that facility.
Right.
Okay.
That's why, that's the only reason why.
Okay.
And as I was dozing off, I read the next line, and I woke up and had to read it twice. Acquisition
When
of a
was he
new,
dozing off?
I'm trying to figure that
Oh,
out
when I was
myself.
talking.
acquisition of a new CRA building, down payment, $500,000.
Well, remember, that $500,000 is going to be almost an in from when we sell. If we were to sell the 800 building, you're going to have hopefully $500,000 to $600,000, $700,000 when you sell it. So that money is going to be an in and then an out to purchase or to do something. So it's more of a placeholder. If we, just like with the marina, with some of the dollars that we did the current year, if we don't receive those dollars, that expenditure never gets used. So we call it an in and an out. So it's not used in the budget for operational purposes. It's just we receive the dollars and then we're going to use it to do something else, which we would have to have a facility at some location.
Well, okay.
And it doesn't mean that, it doesn't mean that you have to use it. It's only if you receive the dollars when you sell the other building.
And it must be in the CRA?
It has to be.
Okay, just double checking.
Yeah.
Because there's some properties that's ideal, but they're outside the CRA.
Yeah, and frankly, I think I don't know that we want to be too far away from the downtown area either. You know, so if we're not, and that's one of the reasons why Allison, when she was here, was looking at the location on 10th, because it wasn't too far away from Park, but it gave the opportunity to kind of promote and push that area and kind of grow that area and kind of create some activation, you know, opportunities.
Quick question for you, Leanna. Are we looking at Silver Beach? I know on our side, with the intent of letting them know about the possible grants they could have for refurbishment?
Yes, so that would be like the door hanger program, and we're trying to reach out to those residents and to address the other resident that wasn't sure that they were in the CRA district. And so we want to reach all of our residents too and let them know about our programs.
And a lot of that, you know, a lot of those areas with the multifamily through there, maybe more than the door hanger, you know, we'll probably have to maybe do that and send some letters, because you got to get to the property owners on that, you know, in some of those rental units.
Absolutely.
So,
thank you, Leanna, for giving us information. Commissioner Lino, are you
Uh,
all set?
Let me make sure. That was improvements. Yeah, that was the last I had. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.
Do you have anything,
And
Vice
if
Mayor?
we
You have something?
look at
Okay.
$500,000 for a house, I sure want to be able to look at that one. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Commissioner O'Rourke?
Well, I hope that that $500,000 would be somewhere around near Camille's or somewhere right in that area.
Yeah, that would be nice.
They have those are condos,
Correct.
all of those things there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we just kicked in a lot of money for Kelsey Market. No comment
it
on
looks
that.
good, though. But it looks good.
No comment. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I'm already sugared up. Okay, I wanted to discuss with you the issue with the design and construction of Burt Bostrom Master Plan Phase 2, and just so you know who I am, okay, and give you my perspective. And this is nothing to do with any angst I have with you or what you're doing. But I was dead set not to do a consultant thing on the park because we don't have the money to do the park magic that they want to do. So I didn't think that was an appropriate use of money. However, when I see design and construction of Burt Bostrom, I'm very much in favor of that. My position has always been they need to just put down a small soccer field for the young kids and a medium-sized field for the medium-sized kids. We don't have enough room there for a full-size soccer field for the older kids. But by creating those things in the park, we can partner with, for example, Palm Beach Gardens, which has an incredible facility for their soccer program. And so we could become a feeder program to them. That's one of the things I've always thought we should be doing in our town. But with regard to that $650,000 budget item, I'm very concerned about spending too much money on design and not enough money on construction. So that's always my perspective. I do like the idea. I see you have basketball courts in there, and those are the things that I would be very supportive of, because as everybody, I think everybody that's here right now would love to see some youth programs here. And it's not just police athletic programs. It would be, I don't know what they're doing. I suggested to them, bring in volunteers. There's plenty of people that would love to volunteer to bring these programs and create that process of youth programs in our town. Because what those things do is they actually tie the community together, which is a absolutely essential function, especially in a CRA.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it means, design and construction, concession stands, all of that stuff. All of that stuff can go like out farther. They really need to make sure that the fields are accessible to young people. So That's just my take on it. That's a lot of money to make fields accessible. But I look forward to seeing where we're going with the Burt Bostrom Park, and you'll have all of our support if we can create these youth programs.
Right.
What we want to do, I think, is try and have some, like you're saying, I think some quick wins.
Yeah.
Hit the low-hanging fruit.
Exactly.
Get the kids out on the fields, get the kids out in the playgrounds, get the kids on the basketball courts. I know one of the things that we talked about was maybe doing...
It's lightning out there. Can we get us out of here now, too?
Yeah.
Because I'm scared.
We talked about, I think we talked about parking and different things like that, but we may come back to you guys and look, not just the basketball courts, but maybe the playground equipment, doing that up front, holding off on some of the parking, even though the parking's needed. But let's get make it where the local folks can walk and bike, the kids can walk and bike and do that kind of stuff. So we'll talk about that more internally and bring back a plan.
But Rich, you also said that when we were discussing on 10th that you can do on-street parking, that
That's right.
you can do parking there,
That's right.
perimeter parking with paint.
Yeah.
And maybe a box here
On
and
a
there,
temporary basis, so I think that's kind of what we're going to talk about more of. Yeah.
And thank you for what you do for our town, and welcome, and
Thank you so
keep
much.
going strong.
I appreciate that, all of you. Thank you.
Okay,
For me.
you're good, Vice Mayor, right?
Good.
Okay, thank you, Leanna, again.
Thank you.
Ms. Gould?
So that ends the CIP. For me, my next steps are, I have asked out department heads if you saw anything incorrect, if you have an updated price, I need that information. So I have been receiving that. I've also been able to finally see a few estimates from the state on the revenue sharing, communication service tax, and half-cent sales tax, so I can increase and or decrease those revenues. Now it's the other things, if there's anything else you want to approach, change, increase, decrease, I need that information to be able to update any of the funds for the first budget hearing.
I think most of the changes that were discussed today was possibly service sharing with the other cities, which I think would contribute to the cost. And that would be something across the board that we all want to see. And that could be something there. I think the dais will let you know when there's one. But Commissioner Linden, I think you had something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I was kind of waiting towards the end to see where we were going. I would like to start a discussion on the ad valorem rate. We've already put a ceiling of 5.1 on there. I'm proposing to lower that to 5. Now, in my conversations with the town manager and Barbara, we could lower that to 5, save the residents some money with virtually little to no impact on our current budget form. They would have to redo very little, if anything.
Town manager, with this, I guess from what Commissioner Linden is stating now, would that be the case, that it would be little to no impact? I know you said just in a couple meetings ago that we have a premium hike on the insurance for the employees. What's that number?
I've read about $100,000, what we're hearing right now. We're still waiting to go out.
And if we were to go with this proposal and move forward, how much would that save?
Well, so here's what happened was, in this budget process, one of our main priorities was to try and put as much into reserves as possible this year,
Yeah.
with the expectation that Amendment 3 may happen,
Okay,
because the funding won't be there as available in the future.
absolutely.
The concern that I have as your manager is when we have storms, when we have emergency events, when we have AC failures, things like that, that maybe are so significant that we have to have those dollars available to be able to support them. So in advance or after we submitted our budget, or after we prepared the budget, or the departments prepared the budget, I asked them to do a 10% reduction from where they were in current year so that we can move as much into reserves as possible. So there are two numbers basically out there. One is about $400,000 that we have that's dedicated to go into your reserves automatically. Then we took the 10% amount and we put that as contingency. We took that out of the departments and put that into a separate cost center so that it's shown we had it available in case the departments needed it, but we removed it from their budget with the anticipation, again, in case Amendment 3 happened.
And what is that number?
About 200 and...
213,367.
Now, the $100,000 for the health insurance will come out of that amount. It'll come out of that amount. So really, we have, at this moment, about 113, correct?
Correct.
So, so what Commissioner Linden is talking about is, and what I was saying was that we would not have to go back into the departments and mine for more revenues or reduce down expenditures. We would be able to take any changes that you make to the ad valorem out of the reserves or the contingency dollars that we've already set aside. Now, if you do that, that's fine, but just be aware that that's also going to affect the reserve dollars that we're going to have available down the line.
Because you had it set to where we had a specific number.
We had about $600,000 set to go into reserves for this year into general fund.
And then if we lower the millage, what comes out of the reserve to
Whatever you
operating?
lower it down will come out of that number.
If we lower it, the 1 point, dollar-wise, how does that affect us?
I think what you're meaning is a tenth of a mil, right?
Correct.
0.1.
Tenth of a mil, right? Or-
I just say that just for clarification because, so it'll be about $170,000.
Okay. So based on conversations tonight and reducing some items, and please don't forget the fact that we promised the residents of this town we would reduce that ad valorem when Nautilus went up.
Mhm.
All right?
Yep.
So we, after looking through it, even with the 10%, which was a great exercise, not every department was able to complete that for various reasons. You know, I'm not disagreeing. They did. But to come up with 170?
213.
No. To go down
Oh, to go down.
to 0.1.
That would take you to a flat 5 mils.
Right, but how much would that take away again?
170,000.
170,000. I truly believe that we could find that money in there without cutting staff, without reducing the 3 and the 2, and so forth.
Well, it would from what you stated, it would simply just come out of reserves.
It will come out of the reserves. Now, if you guys said,
Well, no, wait. While it would come out,
of the reserves that we have dedicated, the amount of money that we have dedicated to go into reserves.
into the reserve. So let's make sure we understand.
Correct.
It's not money that we're taking out, because
Well-
we've got money going in, because we got 3% more this year
Right.
than we did last. So we got whatever that number may be, I don't know.
So in essence, it would be less money going to reserves with the intent of it being
Exactly.
being part of the operating.
And we got enough others holding out if we need that expense money that we could do it. So, my point.
Maybe Barbara can give you a quick update on where we are now. Do you have that on top of your head? Where we are reserve-wise, general fund?
So reserve-wise general fund, we're budgeting $451,737 for this year. So that would lower by that $170,000 if that's what you decide.
And then where are we at as a total of our total reserves that we already have funded? Approximately $3 million in the general fund?
Oh, okay, yes. Sorry. I'm thinking, no. Yes. So the general fund does have about $3 million of unrestricted reserves. We would like to see that continue to grow.
Yes. Well, we have a big decision that's coming up that may alter it.
And that will radically change a lot of things we do.
Yes.
And that was one of the reasons why we're trying to make that a priority this year in case, because the funding just won't be there as much next year or the year after.
Well,
we just,
That's another reason why we could use a brick and mortar.
You
at
guys
Burke
can move
Bostrom.
up a little closer here if you like.
In case there are rain events like this, we can have maybe an emergency center there as well.
There you
for
go.
Burke Bostrom.
well, the concern we have is staff, and is right now with everything changing with FEMA, how quickly do we get paid if there's a storm event? And we're getting right into the peak of storm season right now.
Yeah.
So you could see 2 or 3 major storms come through here. And I mean, I've worked in a city where there were 5 storms within a month, and 3 of them, the eye hit over the city that I was managing at that moment. I mean, it was one right after another. The amount of funding that we put out and we were waiting on. So again, we're good either way. We'll make it work. I just want you to, and when we talked about it, same thing. I just want you guys to have all the information on what we were thinking and why we were.
Okay, I can think it over on this one and entertain it myself.
What do you want to do?
I'd just like to think this over, think this through. It's not a decision you're looking to make, we're looking to make now.
Yes.
We needed, if the decision's not made today, we probably need it by, when do we have to advertise for the 8th meeting?
So it would be almost immediately after the first budget hearing, because the ad has to be,
The 8th. We have a meeting on the 2nd, a regular meeting, that we could certainly add that as an agenda item as a discussion.
Okay,
And then we have your first budget meeting on the 8th.
okay, let's do that.
so that would give you some time to just
So we
sleep
can do that?
sleep on the discussion.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have, correct, which is the same thing I'm looking at it. It's a good proposal, we did make a promise, but I just want to make sure the numbers are accurate.
And each of us should present our position on that, correct? At that night.
Yeah,
And then we'll have to come to this decision,
absolutely.
which,
We already have one.
Well,
We already have one.
it's a group decision. It's,
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
I understand
and,
that, but meaning,
There's other points in that budget that I think are that are inflated.
and I think we can discuss that too at that
Yeah.
time, so.
absolutely.
You know,
And-
Barbara, you brought up if you don't mind, John.
No, please go ahead.
No,
This is kind of discussion time, I'm just doing. With regard to some of these items, maybe there's ways we can look in there and say, well, can we cut a little out of this, cut a little out of that, to avoid messing with our reserve funding? Because I've seen that happen. We've gotten to a place where we had a healthy reserve, and we're getting to a place where it's not so healthy anymore, you know?
Correct.
And so I'm a little concerned about that. A reserve fund is a very important fund for the viability of a town, so.
And we do that throughout the year. If we just, that whole attitude where you got $500 left in your office supply budget, you better buy stuff. We don't do that anymore. We don't automatically say, well, You know, it was $500 last year, let's increase it 5%. And that's what we don't do that. We're justifying what we're spending.
And if, you know, I can certainly talk to staff. We have a meeting tomorrow. They're all here. Oh, we don't have the meeting tomorrow? Oh, I'm used to always having a meeting.
No, because
after.
this is an off week.
I'm used, yeah.
This is off week.
But we can have a meeting anyway. No. But we can always go back and see if there are additional opportunities. There were some cuts in this budget that some of the departments recommended that we actually put back in based on the priorities that were received. So we can come back and provide, you know, a list of those things to you as well, so that it's maybe not all out of, you know, the proposed.
I'm just hoping in
contingency
future years it doesn't go to the point where we keep exercising these budget cuts and it gets into really essential items. There's only so many,
Well, that's why we did it now, because that's the
Yeah.
expectation when Amendment 3 happens. That's going to be some of the serious conversations that we're going to have with it.
Yeah.
It's exactly.
I make a motion.
Wait. If Amendment 3 passes, based on what I read for Lake Park, we'll lose about $1,000 homes because of the number of homes that are homesteaded. What does that? Well, that's the number. I read it, and we keep worrying about what's going to happen. I don't know what the impact's going to be if it goes through or if it fails. I don't know how much money we will lose next year, the year after, and so forth. Is there a way to figure that out?
Yeah, we were provided with some preliminary information or some estimated information from the mayor's boss. And that's how we found, that's where we were provided with the data that out of the 1,300 homesteaded properties that we have, about 300 or about 1,000 will pay nothing based on the values that we have today. As those values increase or properties sell, things will be a little bit different. So really the financial burden will then be borne by your business community and your non-homesteaded properties, like your rentals. So at that point, you know, you're going to have, you know, we'll have decisions to make on what services can we provide, how do we do it, do we do additional non-ad valorem, do we do MSTUs, MSBUs, you know, municipal, you know, taxing, you know, benefit units and service units, and, you know, the concerns are going to be, do you keep paying, you know, as an example, please, just an example, do you continue paying for your streetlights out of general fund, or do you say that wherever we have streetlights, that there's an extra fee for it? If you do that, if you know, using that example gives you the idea of the choice that you're going to have to make as the dollars become more limited. Doesn't mean that that's going to happen, but that's the type of choices that we're going to have to make. You know, every service, every activity, every program that we offer, we're now going to have to say, do we provide it at the same level? Is it a priority? Do we want to modify it and continue providing it, or eliminate it altogether?
Well, there's a lot to be argued there, and I don't want to keep anybody here. We got to dodge the raindrops. But that $2 million doesn't kick in for 2 to 3 years. All right? If we look at it going in, the first year, it's $250,000. All right, we all know
First year's
that.
150.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
150,000. When you look at the property values of what they're worth here in Lake Park, the first year we're going to have a minimal impact. We're going to have an impact, but we're going to have minimal. The next year, when it goes up to 250, it's going to hurt a little bit more. but we're not going to lose all 1,000 of those homes. It won't be until year 3, possibly year 4 that we do. So
Actually, what'll happen is.
I don't want to, cutting services is wrong.
Actually, the 150,000 will, out of those 1,000 homes, there may be a number, and I don't know what the number is, a number of those homes may still pay nothing starting next year. Not starting in 2028.
Yep.
Then in 2029, you'll see more homes that are paying nothing,
And then
or
that's,
at least based on the values today.
and then that's when the CPI kicks in.
And then the
after
CPI will
kicks
kick in after that to where that'll be a lower number. The benefit will be is that as we grow, you see Avalons and other things happen, that will, because those are non-ad valorem properties. If another like larger building happened that are homesteaded, you're going to lose dollars there. But because of the rental property, for example, at Avalon, we're going to get the full valuation on it. The change that's going to happen to a property like that is that could have increased by 10% on an annual basis. Now, if the amendment happens, it'll only be able to go up 5%, which according to Dorothy Jacks, that happened very rarely, that anything went up more than 5%, I think, in this county. So I don't know that that's going to be as big of a hit on that side. But you are going to have probably the feeling in our community, in all communities, a sense of the business community and the non-homesteaded potentially feeling like they're supporting the costs, and how do you keep them viable if the business isn't there, because they're going to feel like if we ever raise taxes or fees or things like that, they're going to be the ones that are going to feel the hurt on it. And so it's going to be a difficult situation. It's going to be complex. You're going to have competing interests. You're going to have a lot of people probably coming at, how to handle it. It's going to be something that we're going to have to keep talking about. And one of the reasons why, after this budget's done, what I'd like to do is go through the process before November of, if the full 250 did happen, assuming today, based on the budget today, what does that look like? And it gives you guys an understanding of what that looks like.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. It's a lot. And the thing about it too, I want you, staff, when we had the managers here a few weeks ago, we hosted all the managers for the managers luncheon. That dominated the conversation, of course. And our staff got to hear, all the different ideas and all the different things that the different communities are dealing with. And we're not unusual. Some are actually in a little bit more of a desperate situation because they don't have the commercial and the non-homesteaded properties that we have.
Commissioner O'Rourke, you were saying?
Go ahead, Commissioner O'Rourke.
Motion to adjourn?
Do we have a second? Oh,
I do.
before we do a
I have
second?
two things that I need to mention to you before this
Okay.
closes.
I withdraw that motion.
Thank you, please.
First thing is,
I know you're ready. Well, you gotta let things progress.
in October, the FRA conference is planned. And I wanted to, there are going to be at least, I think, 2 or 3 on this board that are planning to go to that meeting or to that conference. We have a commission meeting scheduled for that, the Wednesday when we're away. We wanted to try and find another day in October or to eliminate that meeting. So if you have any ideas, can you let us know so that we can bring that to you probably in September?
Sure.
And I can have Janet maybe even put something out. And then the second thing is, I know the agenda is supposed to come out tonight. Because of budget workshop and everything else, we had some other things. We'll get it out tomorrow. I apologize, but we'll get it out to you guys tomorrow.
Okay.
I have a commissioner comment.
Commissioner O'Rourke.
With regard to what you were just talking about, what were you just talking about? Yeah. Yes, I wanted to ask, is there anything, do we have anything going on with Business Development Board? Because right now, I read these magazines, Florida Trend, there's a significant movement of businesses from the New York area right now down here. And if we were able to bring in a company to our town and tell them this can be your home, that would have a significant impact on the revenue coming into our town. If we could get some type of business to relocate to this town. We have our industrial area, and there's properties that are available for us to be able to present that. We have warehouses that we've built over the last 5-6 years that are 30, 20%.
That'd be another conversation with the BDB.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
did a
tour. We did
a tour with
like
the BDB
a
before.
drive-through with them. We brought them in.
You mentioned the FRA, and I just wanted to bring up that's a group that I don't think we're selling them our town hard enough, because Kelly Smallridge is a wonderful and brilliant lady woman who has really done great things with that organization. So
I know when she was here last time, when we took her for the tour, she was considering possibly companies that were overseas, I believe. Am I not mistaken?
I don't recall. I'm sorry.
I know just through talks with her.
Yeah, we did a drive-through, and we took them to all the different areas. We showed them the Nautilus. We showed them all the different things, the downtown, and drove them through those industrial. So they're familiar. They have a lot of these on their radar. I think some of the things that we need to maybe improve on, to help with some of that is, the utilities. The septic to sewer project is critical, and of course we've done a lot with that and seen some redevelopment over in that area. The industrial areas are on their radar. They're promoting those all the time.
They have it in all their literature.
Yeah, the improving of, the school grade, I think, helps. Those are the kinds of things, but we're fighting, where these people, they want an address. They want a Boca address, they want a Jupiter address or a Gardens address. We got to make it where they want a Lake Park address, and that's one of the reasons why in this year's budget we also have the membership into the Forum Club, so that we can be around some of these business leaders directly, and we can start communicating and talking with them and selling them on what we're doing.
And I think that's the one you want us kind of all to rotate on.
Yeah, there's one in the commission budget and then one in the managers, and that way we need to be part of it. We need to be around the business leaders in our community for them to think about, about us.
Any other commissioner comments?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everybody.